Okay, let's talk about Emulate the Master. I have some examples from James Franco I'm using. He did a whole series where he emulated Cindy Sherman. So we're going to use his example kind of for how your web page should look once you have shot your emulations, which you might have already started, you might not have. There are two types of emulations. Let's look at those. I asked for, so here's the assignment on Classroom, and your web page should include at least one photo where you have recreated the scene to the best of your ability. That's the copy. And another should be shot in the same style with similar processing strategies. These are the stylized. Oh, there's my typo. Okay. So you're going to take at least one photo that you basically copied the picture, and then at least three more after that for a total of four, where you just take pictures in a similar style. So what does that mean? I'm going to come down here, look at the copy example. This is my wife's friend here on the right. This is Cindy Sherman here on the left. Here we have the copy, right? I mean, she literally like went to this place in New York and took a picture of herself with a similar hat on and all that fun stuff. That would be like a copy, like she basically copied this picture, right? So you only need one of these. I feel like this is going to be the harder one, more difficult one, so I only gave you one like this to copy. Then if we look at the stylized emulation, now I might or might not have updated this since the video, so you might be looking at this, you might be looking at a photo of my kid. I don't know. But this is kind of like an example of something shot in the style of Diana Arbus. Whereas if you look at a lot of Diana Arbus's photos, they're very like confrontational. Like the subject is looking straight into the camera. Here we've got this his head's kind of cocked to the side with a funny look on his face. And I see that same thing here in these two photos. Also the tonal value, the black and white nature of this is very similar. So you can kind of, you get an idea of what it would be like a stylized version of this. Okay, got that out of the way. So that differentiates the two. How do we make the website, Zbarth? Because in the website I need 4 photos, original photos from you. And then below the slideshow we need 8 photographs from your photographer. So I've already looked for photographs from the photographer. You should already have these, but if not, you're gonna have to find some. Let's go back to that example site. So notice that I have like nice big pictures of the originals. This example, it's James Franco's originals. And so this is like James Franco. He took my class last year, and this was his assignment, right? And then below that, so I have a little bit of a writing assignment for you to sum up what you've done, what the differences were, what the similarities were. And then below that, I want you to have your originals from your photographer. In this case, it's Cindy Sherman. So, well, how do I make it look like this? So I've got big pictures up top and little pictures down below. One important thing to note is that I want this to be your home page of Emulate the Masters. So how do we do that? Here we are back at my Google site. I'll blow this up for you. So we have your navigation here on the right where you can either insert items or go to like different pages. But you should be on just this main Emulate the Masters page. If I click on this, it's going to show me the James Franco stuff, right? But make sure that you are populating all your stuff on this main page here. When I build my example here, I'm going to create a subpage, but you're not going to create a subpage because you've already made this page, right? So your main page should be your original photos, and then you have a proposal page and an exposure triangle page underneath that. But for this example, I'm going to make a subpage. Create subpage. And then I'm just going to do big ol' example. Click done. Okay, so I'm going to title this real quickly. Cindy Sherman Emulations. And I'm going to make sure that's what I call this site back here, because I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. Emulating Cindy Sherman. I don't know, that sounds better, right? So, emulating Cindy Sherman. Then it looks like I have a little piece of text here. So I'm going to start off with a piece of text. Insert a text box. And I'm going to make this a heading, I believe. I'm going to call this my original emulations. Then from here, it's a matter of just adding photos. So it kind of depends on where your photos are coming from, but if I click images now, it's going to make a box below that text. So you can either look in your Google Drive folder. This was part of the original assignment, was to put a folder in here. Remember that? If not, maybe you have them on your computer. That's okay too. I don't judge. But essentially, I'm just going to drag pictures into this window. So I already have my images somewhere. Oh man, I closed it. Okay, documents, assignments, emulate the masters. I think it's in here. Yeah. If these are my originals, you could drag them one by one if you want. Well, let's see what happens if I drag all four. Okay, so it is going to create like a gallery for me automatically. Close that. So I want them to be big though, so we're going to undo that. Looks like you have to do it one by one. So I'll start with this one, drop it in here. It uploaded the image, so I didn't even need to click the image thing. I just dragged it down here. Now I'm going to make it larger. So we'll kind of drag it out. And you notice as I drag, it kind of crops it, right? You really only have to worry about the width, because once you set that, you have these options up here to uncrop the image. So I'm going to click uncrop, and that will just center it, make it nice and uncropped for me. From here, you should title your image. So I'm going to click on the little 3 circles here and choose Add Caption. This is where you should actually name it, right? This is James Franco's, but you should put your name. And we're going to italicize the title. Film series number 3. And then not in italics. He did this in 2013, I believe. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly add a few more images. I'm going to go back to the Finder. And we'll drag the second shot. And it makes it too small, but that's okay. We just need to match the width. So we'll look at the image above and make sure I'm filling the same amount of space. And then click uncrop. And then I'm going to add a caption. Name, whoops. To make this brief, name here. Okay. And then without commentary, I will add a few more. Go back to the Finder. Drag this one. I would maybe be careful about, like, don't drag it on top of the other image. Make sure you're kind of dragging it in this empty area. Go back to the Finder. Drop this last one. Make this larger, like so. And then remember this menu pops up. Hi, uncrop. Okay. Now I need to add a text box. And in this text box, write your prompt answers. And what are the prompts? Let's see. Looks like I want you to sum up what makes your photograph similar to the original, how many were copies, etc., etc. Looks like I used a heading for this. Okay. Then below, insert your 8 photo slideshow. And in this case, I am going to choose multiple pictures at a time. So here's my original photos here, which I have all labeled, which is going to help me caption them later, right? So I have the year and the untitled film number here. But essentially, I'm just going to click and drag over all these pictures. and drag it down here in this blank area. And then, boom. Well, it didn't quite happen so quickly. But yeah, that's it. That looks great. Caption each one. I want to know the name. Give the photographer some credit here. To add a caption, you click on a photo, click on the 3 circles, and choose Add Caption. And then I always like you to name it, Cindy Sherman. And we're going to do like a possessive S here. And then Command I to italicize, or click on this. Untitled Film Still number 32. And comma. I'm going to do Command I to get rid of the italices, and then do the year, 1980. That is about it. So you should go through Caption all these. I've got my 4 originals and my 8, the real originals, right? And that's it. Let's just go back and make sure. Ooh, looks like I did add a little text box here. So look, I forgot to write originals from Cindy Sherman's Untitled film series. I'll make a text box. I'm going to make this a title. Original photos from Cindy Sherman's Untitled film series. So you might not be pulling pictures from one series. You can name this whatever is appropriate for your situation. I might even put 1980 in here. Whoops. Okay, but I need to get this above my pictures. So to do that, that's what this little handle here is. These little dots, you just click and drag this and bring it up. And I'm going to write this right underneath, so right above my images. Like notice I could drop it between rows here. We're just going to do it right above. And that's it. Remember, when you publish this, we'll click Publish. When you submit a link, do not give me this link. We are in the Google Sites dashboard. You have to come down here. Oops, went away. You have to go under this little triangle menu and choose View Publish Site. And notice the difference between this web address and the published site's web address. Very, very simple, and you can actually read it. So this is what you're going to copy in. And you are going to paste this into a private comment on the assignment. Do not submit how you did previously. This is a new submission process, private comment. I think that's enough. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped. And I'll see you right here in class.